Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Valentine's picnic basket. Now obviously this can be used for pretty much anything. We just decided to give it a Valentine's twist since, well, it'd be a great little gift to give for Valentine's Day. So the cool thing about this picnic basket is it has little compartments on the top that I guess they articulate, maybe that's the word. But here's what we want to do. You're going to find these two pieces. They're exactly identical, but when we actually connect them to the basket, one of them is going to open up this way, like this, and the other one's going to open up this way. So you don't want it opening from the center. You want it opening from the outside, okay? And if by chance you're using a pattern that has a specific direction, you want to make sure that you put it in the correct orientation. Okay, so like for me, I want my hearts to go outward. So I don't want them like this. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but either way, we're gonna start off by actually putting these panels in place first. And I'm gonna start with this one here. Okay, so it's very simple. We're gonna repeat the same process on both of the little compartments. Okay. And you want to make sure that you maintain a nice even border all the way around on all four sides. Try to get it as centered as possible, just like that. Okay. And that's going to be the back of our little contraption. So I want the hearts. Hearts are going to be going this way because we want it to. Yeah, we don't want them to be upside down, basically. Okay, so I'm going to put my glue on here. And these are going to go right here. Again, nice and centered. There we go. Okay, that's the bottom, so we're not putting anything on the bottom. And this is the front. The front has a special piece. We want those right side up as well. So let's get those glued into place. This cardstock's probably 100-pound. I'm not even sure who makes it, but it's got like a foil element to it. It's really pretty. Okay, there we go. So if you need to kind of close it up, just to kind of visualize how it's going to be, that's fine. And on the sides here, I want the hearts to go down. I don't want them to be upside down. Okay, so just remember that they're going like this. Again, you only need to really pay attention to this if, in fact, you're using a pattern that has a specific direction, okay? So I'm going to do it just one more time just to be sure. With these side ones, make sure that you're lining it up with the little hole in the center. So that pretty much automatically helps you with the placement of everything, too. Okay, there we go. We'll go over to the other side. And put my panel on there, hearts facing down or pointed down. There we go. So this is really cool because you can put something different in each compartment, and then there's a main part of the basket where you can put a larger gift. So again, you can adapt this to pretty much any occasion. It doesn't need to be Valentine's Day. It just so happened that, well, we needed another item. So we said, why not? This sounds like a fun idea. All right, so let's go ahead and begin assembling the structure. Put our glue on one of the tabs first here and line that up. Give that a press. And press that into place. There we go. We'll go over to the front on the same side and apply our glue. Spread that out, tuck it in, and press it down. You can put that on your surface too and press down from the inside. That works for me. And let's close it up on this side. Apply your glue there. Line it up. Here we go. Put that down on your surface. You're just making a little box, basically. You guys have done this before. And one more little tab in here. Might be a little tough to get into that little nook and cranny there. You'll get it though. There we go. Wipe off any excess before it gets all over the place. And press that down. There we go. Okay, so these two sides are just going to come in, and it's just going to close like this. Okay, there we go. So there's one. Put that off to the side, and then we're going to repeat the same process here on this other one. And you can either follow along with me, or you can pause me and do this yourself, and then just skip to the next step when you're ready. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'm just going to blab. Cool thing about doing these projects, I know I'm doing them for Dreaming Tree. It's, you know, doing it for my business, but I get to use these in my life too. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone, I guess you could say. Okay, so here again, I'm closing this just to make sure that I'm getting the orientation correct. This one you can't really mess up. It's got to go like that because of that little notch. But I'm gonna fill this up with some stuff and give it to my wonderful lady. Blessed me with a bundle of fun. Boy, Peyton is he's funny lately. Very funny dude. I love starting to talk a little bit here and there. Still blabs. I mean, mama, dada are his main vocabulary, but when I come inside and he sees me, he says dada, and he starts running towards me. It's the cutest thing. Gives me try to make excuses to go inside just to see him. Get real disappointed when he's napping. I'm sure you guys have all been there. I'm just doing it a little better late than ever, I guess. Okay, putting this piece in place, matching it up with the holes. Sometimes it helps to lift it up so you can get some light to shine through that little hole to help you with the alignment. There we go. Okay, so that's going to close like that, and that just leaves, what does that leave? What am I missing? Oh, this guy. And I'm going to have this guy going down. Don't want my hearts upside down, because that's not the shape of my heart. Okay, and that one's going to go right there. And we'll press that down. There we go. And now we can move on to putting it together. Same as before. Start with one of the tabs here. Doesn't matter which one. Okay. Line that up. There we go. Press that into place. And the next one. Spread that glue out, make it real nice so that the seams are nice and clean. We get no glue shooting out. That's why I do that mostly. Sometimes if you leave it to fate, you get some glue that spills out and it just becomes kind of a gluey mess. Not always, but oftentimes. Okay. I'd rather get glue on my fingers than in places on my project where it doesn't belong. Okay, there we go. Well, just like that. In that case, in that instance, I accomplished both. Then it happens. All right, tuck that in, nice and straight. Line it up and put that down on your surface. Press down on that tab. Let's tuck this one in. Okay, and let's get glue on that final tab. You can use the tip of your nozzle to kind of spread it out if you want. If you can get your finger in there, do that. Sometimes if you just push from the inside towards the outside, it will spread that glue for you automatically. I don't always get the cleanest seams when I do that, but most of the time it'll be okay. All right, so we'll tuck that in just like we did before. Make sure it closes nicely. Okay, so we've got left and right. Perfect. Now, one thing we can do in the meantime, just to get rid of some other pieces, we have these little hinges here. What we're going to do is glue them back to back. So we've got two there, two there, two there, two there. Let's do that real quick. And then we can actually attach them to the little boxes just to get some more stuff out of the way. Okay, I'm doing it back to back to where I can see the texture on both sides, even though you're probably not going to see the texture on one of the sides, really, because they're going to be up against the main structure, but that's okay. Still going to do it that way. Okay. Just line up the holes. As long as the holes line up, you know you did a good job. Okay, so there's two. Let's do two more. We went two thicknesses just to make it a little more sturdy so that it doesn't rip. I mean, if you manhandle this thing, it will, anything you do will rip it if you're crazy with it. So just be gentle, but it'll work. Come on, here we go. And just line those up. So what you're gonna do is we're actually gonna use some brads to put these in place. I should have a box of them somewhere. Okay, so we can open this up, open up both of them actually. Okay, and grab your brads, get them ready to go. You can feed it through a little hinge mechanism first, and then pop it through the side of the box. It's going to angle down. Okay, and then spread those apart from the inside. You don't want to make it too tight because they do have to kind of move a little bit. So just make sure you can move it. Okay. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And eventually when we get the actual basket assembled, we'll join it to the basket. Okay, so maybe one of these days we'll just build a working car. How about that? I mean, we put speakers and stuff, lights, we've made things spin. There's so much you can do with paper. Try not to get too crazy. I don't want to scare people away. Okay, so that's going in. Spread that brad apart. Do the same thing over here. And I have some left over. I need two more brads for the handle. Okay. All right, so that part's done. I'll put these off to the side for now while we take a look at the main part of the basket here. Okay, so we have the sides. Okay. So find the sections that have the tabs on them. These are going to be overlays that will go on later. And these are panels that will go on later. There's a lip. And then we have two pieces that look like this. One has a little L on it, one does not. Hold on to this one, put the one with the L off to the side for now. Okay, and then you'll look at these. You'll notice that on one of them there's a B and one side has nothing. The B is for bottom. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna use this like a little skeleton. We're gonna connect it like this. Okay, so I'm gonna start right up here and anchor it, and then we'll glue the rest of the tabs down to form the side. Right, so again, make sure the B is at the bottom, and this one does not have a B on it, but you can tell by its shape. This is the bottom, this is the top, this is where the holes are. Okay, so you know that that's the top. Just make sure that the B on this tab is at the bottom. All right, so let's grab this, and let's anchor this at using one tab first. If we get a little sloppy here. It's okay, because all of this is going to be covered up eventually. So line that up right at the top and just press and hold. Okay, if you get a little bit of glue that shoots out, it's okay. You can put that down on your surface and press down from the inside as well, and that's okay. All right, now what we can do is we can flare these tabs out. I'm just going to do a couple at a time. So I've got glue on 2 of them. They're tucked under. I'm going to push up against this surface here from the outside with this hand, and I'm going to push down from the inside to push those tabs into place. Okay, so you can see those tabs have been glued down. Now we're going to go over here, and I think I can get these remaining 3 tabs glued down. I'm going to tuck those under, push this up against our little skeleton piece, and push down from the inside to help make contact. Okay, and there you go. So that's what that should look like. All right, so now what we can do, we'll grab this other piece. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on this side. We'll start with the top, get that anchored, make sure that it's in the correct position, like this. Hold it however feels most comfortable for you. I'm gonna hold it like this. So I wanna make sure that I get it lined up correctly. There we go. Make sure it's flush up against this side as far as it'll go. Give that a press. There we go. Okay, now carefully, I think I can probably do all these tabs in one shot. Let's try it. There's only 5. Okay, so again, we're going to take and tuck those tabs underneath just like we did. I'm going to push down on the inside and push this up against that little skeleton piece. I'm pushing down with my fingers, getting a little bit of glue all over the place, but that's okay. There we go. That was pretty easy actually. So you see how that worked. You could technically try to glue each of these down one at a time. I don't recommend that. I don't think it's as accurate. Okay, all right, so now I'm gonna go over to the other side. Make sure that that B is at the bottom. I'm gonna go over here and we're gonna line this up just like we did on that side. Okay, start by putting glue on just one of the tabs and line that up. Like so. And press and hold. Give that a few seconds to set. There we go. We're going to flare this down. And again, there's only 5 tabs, so I'm just going to hit them all at once. Okay, we're going to tuck those under. I'm going to put that down on my surface. I can move this out of the way so you can see. I'm going to tuck those under, push them up against this piece here, push down from the inside, and push against it from the outside. Make sure it's hugging that shape as tightly as possible. Okay, and there you go. That's what the end result should look like. Nice and flush. And that just leaves one more side here. Apply your glue to that top tab so that we can get it anchored. Line that up as accurately as possible. Make sure it's sitting flush up against that little piece there. Give that a good squeeze. Here we go. Okay, let's flare these out. And I'm just going to get them all done here. All 5, tuck them back. Tuck them underneath. Push them up against that little side piece and press down onto those tabs from the inside, right in that corner. I wish I had a little camera that I could stick in there, but you get the idea there, okay? So all 4 sides are in place now. This is our bottom. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put the bottom on real quick just to help it maintain its shape. Okay, and we're going to need that piece that doesn't have anything on it. So remember, these two pieces, they're almost identical. One has a little L. The L we do not need right now. We want the one that does not have any letters on it. Go ahead and apply glue to one of these tabs. And let's spread that out to the very edge. We'll take this and get it anchored. You want to get it centered right out to the very edge of this side here. Press that down. Okay, don't worry if you got a little bit of glue that shot out. It's all going to be covered up. Then you can let it go flat on your surface, and you can push down on the rest of the tab from the inside. Okay, there we go. Nice clean seam. And now we'll apply glue to the remaining 3 tabs. We'll go a little bit heavier here because I'm going to end up spreading this out to the very edges. And we've got a lot of surface area to cover. So I want to make sure I got a lot of time here to do this. And you know, sometimes it's actually better when it's wet. On the bottom, I don't mind so much. Anywhere else, I might worry a little bit that it would warp the paper, but okay, so now bring these up a little bit, close it down, focus on getting it aligned on this side here. Get it centered right out to the edge. If you need to kind of push it in a little bit or pull it out, that's fine. Totally normal. After all, we are working with paper. Kind of breathes a little bit. There we go. And then just keep running your finger around the perimeter. You can flip it around, push down from the inside on the rest of that tab, on the rest of the surface area of the tab. There we go. And let's check our seams again here. Okay, you can flare these tabs out, and let's apply some glue around the horn here, a little bit in the middle. Take the piece with the L and drop it right into the center there. It's your little liner. It's going to thicken it up, make it stronger, hide those tabs at the same time. Okay. Now, you can do a couple things here. Just pick the direction that we go in. These little guys are going to go over this to hide those tabs. Also, will act as reinforcement, so we're going to glue those down, and then the panel is going to go on top of that, like that. Okay, so go ahead and you can apply glue to this surface, or you can put it on here. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to put it on. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to put it on here. Focus on the perimeter mostly, and then a little bit there. I can always go in and paint this piece with a little extra glue should I need to. Just make sure it's flush at the top. No, flush all the way around actually. Okay, you can put that down on your surface and really give that a press. But really focus on the edges. Make sure it's nice and seamless, making contact all the way around. Okay, check it all my seams. Looks good. Seems good. All right. Now I'm going to head over to the other side, do the same thing. We'll put this piece down. Again, focus that glue around the perimeter. Try to avoid those little cutouts, although if you get some glue on there, it's not like it's going to do anything. Okay. And same thing, flush all the way around. There you go. Put that down on my surface and really give that a press, especially along this seam here. There we go. Now work these edges. There we go, nice and crisp. Looks good. I feel like I'm getting my mojo back. It's been a while since we released our last bundle with the holiday break and such. Okay, before we do anything else, let's put this little lip on here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna anchor this to one side first. So go ahead and apply some glue to this tab. And actually what I should probably do is just get a little bit of glue on here as well. So I kind of want it out to the edge. Okay, so let's get that anchored right out to the edge. Make sure it's centered. And then you can kind of push from the inside, kind of like you're making a little pie. Keep it centered. There we go. That looks nice. Put that down on your surface again. Press down. Once it's tacky and it's gotten its hold, it's not going anywhere. There we go. Okay, there we go. That looks nice. And now we'll flare this out. I'm going to close it up. So go ahead and apply glue to the remaining 3 tabs. And we can always go in and paint a little extra glue in any areas that maybe aren't sitting completely flat. It's bound to happen. I've been doing this for a long time and it still happens to me, so don't be hard on yourself. Go. Flare them up a little bit, so as you push down, it grabs more of that surface. Get it aligned with this side first, side closest to you. Make sure it's centered. Okay, press that down all the way around, like you're making a pie. Pie crust, a decorative pie crust. There we go. And I'm going to need to clean that side up for sure. That's okay, it happens. There we go. Looks nice there. Yep, need to clean that up a little bit. It's okay. So when I say clean it up, grab yourself a scrap piece of paper, throw a little bit of glue on it, and then just tuck it into these little areas where maybe it's not sitting so flat and flush. Just paint a little bit of glue right on that very edge and just press and hold that down for a few moments until that gap disappears. Okay. And typically when I do that, only the glue that's on the very, very edge actually does anything, and then kind of pushes it back a little bit, and that's okay. That's fine. Keep that nice and flush. Okay, so you get what I'm doing here. And take a look at that seam. Nice and clean, just about. Grab another scrap and just finesse it until it looks sharp and clean. There we go. Beautiful. Got a little gap there. Clean that up. Now you don't really have to do this if you don't want to. I just prefer to because I know that tons of people are going to be staring at this thing on the website. And my job is to show you how to make it look as good as possible. Given the medium that we're using, I'd say that it's pretty awesome what you can do with paper. All right, and I've got a bunch of these little scraps cut out specifically for moments like this. And the cool thing is that the paper's so thin, it will literally slide into an area the thickness of one sheet of paper. Okay, that looks great. And I've got a massive gap over there that I'm going to clean up. That's okay. And just press and hold that in place. Clean that up, make it look nice. Look at that. Very happy with how this is turning out. You can tell that I'm back in the zone. I already made the mailbox and the pizza card today. And now I'm working on this one, and I can just tell that I found my mojo again. Kind of didn't lose it, it just was a little rusty. Okay, there we go. Looks great. Okay, all right, so I'm very happy with that. Now all that's left to do with, well, there's still plenty to do, but okay, this little guy is going to go on like this. It's going to be flush at the top, and then obviously we just want it to sit nice and flush on the entire surface. So let's go ahead and apply our glue. This paper is super thick, so match it up with little holes. Make sure you've got it flush on top. And once you have it lined up, you can take it and put it down on your surface, push down from the inside to help it really get a good grip, especially along the bottom and the sides. Let's take a look. Beautiful. Go over to the other side. Same thing. Okay, you can see I've got some gaps there. I'm going to fix those, but I'm going to keep on cruising here for now. We'll do the same thing that I did to that first side to clean up those gaps. Okay, match up the holes, flush at the top, and pretty much even border the rest of the way around. Okay, put that down on your surface again. Push from the inside so we don't warp the box or destroy the box. Okay, that looks good. And now, what we're gonna have to do here, well, I'm gonna have to do this because this paper is super thick. You can see it doesn't even bend. It barely does anything. Even when I bend it, look at it, it's like, almost like it's got a spring inside of it. I'm going to have to sort of train this a little bit to prepare it to be round so that it hugs this surface a little bit better. And actually, that's probably all I needed to do. That's good enough. You probably, if you're using typical standard pattern paper that's 80 pound, I don't think you're going to need to do that. Definitely you won't have to do that if you're just using cardstock. But in my case, since I'm using this has got to be at least 100 pound, if not more. I had to give it a little bit of a curve. Okay, so this is going to be flush at the top and nice and centered. There's a little part of it that kind of sticks out at the top, and that's how you know that you've got it aligned properly. The little border around the rest of it will happen naturally as long as you have the top part centered properly. And flush at the top. And just kind of keep pushing that down. I'm really going to have to make sure that I push this down because of the thickness of my paper. It almost has a little bit of resistance where it wants to, again, kind of spring off of the surface that I'm gluing it to. So I just got to be careful not to let go prematurely. Okay, and that looks good. I might need to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of that just to make it stick. So I'm literally just going to take and just kind of bend it like this. I don't want to crease it. That's one of my pet peeves, is creasing a beautiful piece of paper. I'm going to keep it so that when the light hits it, it bounces nicely and doesn't get stuck in a crease. Okay, here we go. Apply our glue. Oops. All right, flush at the top, centered. Just make sure it hugs that side nicely. You can contact all the way through, especially at the bottom there. There we go. And that side worked nicely. Okay. All right, so at this point, I'm getting ready to put our little doily in place. There we go. All right, let's grab these guys. And we got some bows and a handle. We're almost done. Okay, so you can see where this is going to go, just like that. That's a nice little touch. Okay, so we do have quite a bit of detail on this. What I would suggest doing is, well, first off, I'm not worried about getting glue on every single inch of the little floral design on the doily. Just going to go around the perimeter, mostly. Okay, get it on the bulk of this, and then maybe a few dots on the larger part of the flower, because there's no way you're going to get all those little details. Okay, so match up the little hole in the center, make sure it's flush at the top. That other hole will kind of magically match up as well. And then press that into place. And plus, if you try to get glue on that whole thing, it's going to squirt out. It's going to blemish your beautiful paper. You don't want to do that. And then, as I mentioned, you can always go in, and if you have any little areas, like I noticed here, right here, I just didn't get enough glue on that. I'll throw a little bit of glue on my scrap, tuck it under, and just paint a little bit right in that little area that's not making contact. Press and hold that down. All right, let's go over to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. Start right here. Make sure I get glue there for sure. Go around the perimeter. Very easy on the glue. Just a few little dots here and there. It's almost like I'm applying the glue in a perforation, if you could imagine that. Just like how your machine perforates the score lines, kind of like that. Okay. Let's go over here, match up that center hole, flush at the top. There we go. Once you get that center hole matched up, you know you're golden. Press that down. Press down the rest of it. Voila. You can put that down on your surface too. Push down from the inside. That looks nice. And voila. Okay, now, for the sides, this doily pattern kind of continues. So I'm using, this is a glitter, so I'm going to have to do the same thing with this and just kind of give it a little bit of a curve. Okay, you can see how it's not flat anymore. It's kind of curved a little bit. And before I apply my glue, let me just kind of get a feel for how it's sitting there. Yeah, that's good. That'll work. Okay, so a little less surface area to work with here, which is good. That means that should be able to get this glued down with no problems. Okay. Mostly focus on the perimeter. Okay, and just match that up with the little cutout from the previous layer. Make sure it's flush with the top, and then just press that bottom part, little floral pattern, down against the side. Make sure it's making contact. Grab yourself a piece of scrap paper and apply it if you have any of these little areas hanging off that maybe aren't making contact, but for the most part, there you'll get it. That looks nice. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just give that a light curve. Just very gentle. Sorry, I'm froggy. My body is clearing itself out from years and years of smoking. Finally decided to put it away, and it's like, well, here, now you got to deal with this. But it's a good thing. Okay, same thing here. Just make sure you get that flush at the top, nice and centered. You can really feel it with your finger if it's flush. then press that down up against the side. There we go. Perfect. Well, this is coming together very nice. I'm very impressed with myself, actually. That's a cool little container by itself. All right, cool. So the next thing we're going to do here, actually, why not? Let's just have some fun real quick. Let's connect this. Okay, so remember, the opening is going to be on the outside. All right, so this is going to sit like this, and then you're going to put the little arm and match that up with the other hole. I'm just going to pop it right through. Now, let me poke it through the little hinge first, and then we'll poke it through the hole that's there. Oh, that's nice and thick. Okay, and we can articulate it out of the way and spread the brad apart. Can't even see it. There we go. Yeah, we'll do it. Okay. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Grab yourself another brad. And with this one, I might just have to poke it through both of them. No, not really. It's okay. Make sure you're poking it through the right hole. Okay. Spread that apart. There we go. Okay, so it'll pop out like this. That'll open, and then to close it up, just bring it in. Okay. So that's just enough on both sides to get your hand to the inside part of the basket. Cool. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. Let's grab 2 more brads. Let's just poke them through this little guy first. On this side, do the same thing on the other side. This project's going a lot faster than I thought it would, to be honest. Okay, remember the opening is going to be on this side, so it's going to sit like this. Let's poke the first brad through. How does that work? Oh yeah, there we go. Poke that through. Let's poke the other one through. Where's my hole? There it is. There we go. Okay, we'll move this out of the way so we can get our hand in there and spread that brad apart. I wonder why they call it a brad. I wonder why they don't call it a Phil or a John. Just kidding. I have no idea. It's probably short for something. Okay, and spread the other one apart as well. Hopefully, I'm not even looking, I'm just feeling. There we go. Okay, so there it goes. And that's how it's going to open, like that. And then you can see you've got this compartment that opens up. And you've got this compartment that opens up. And then when you're done, just bring it in. It should meet in the center like so. You might need to kind of just kind of loosen things up a little bit, but you get the idea. Okay. All right, so now I just need to build a handle and a couple of bows and almost call it a day. All right, so first things first, we have this beautiful little pattern. Okay, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna grab a dowel and right about here, place the piece between your finger and the dowel, and then lift it up and just start to kind of curl it just a little bit. About halfway up, bring it up 90 degrees, run the dowel through, give it a little bit of a curve. Okay, now see, you have the letter B on one of these. B is for bottom, and then you have a series of score marks. You want to line this up right up to that score mark, and then these hearts are actually going to sit right on top of each other. Okay, it's going to make it one long handle. So what we want to do is we're going to apply glue to this entire, from the score marks on down. Okay, and then we can actually just put a little bit of glue on these hearts below the score mark area. Okay, and then here, we're just gonna put glue right up at the very top, spread that out to the very edge, okay? And line that up right on top of that little score mark, and so that the hearts match up. Right there and right, oh, I'm so off. There we go. Okay, keep it curved, and as it's drying, start to kind of shape it. Okay. Start to kind of shape it so that it looks like that. Okay, so you can see from that angle there, like that. Okay. And then ultimately, if we need to, we can kind of flare this out a little bit, but we'll do that later. All right, now you need to put the second layer on, and this is gonna pretty much work the same way. So you'll see this one here that says B for bottom. Go ahead and apply your glue just below the score mark. And then on this one, I'm gonna put glue right up at the top, spread that out to the very edge, okay? And take this, put it right on top of that little score mark. So it's all one piece. Make sure it's centered. Okay, and then we can start taking and just kind of training it. I'm just using my fingers here. Give it a little bit of a curve. Okay, this is going to go on top of that other one. Just try to visualize the shape of it, like that. Okay, now what we're going to do, you can see there's holes on both sides. Okay, like that. And then there's, should match up perfectly, and mine does. And when we glue this down, I'm gonna anchor it first, just at the bottom, like this. But we're gonna need to make sure that this dries and cures while it's actually in its final shape. If you try to get it to dry flat and then shape it, it's gonna pull apart from itself. So go ahead and apply glue to the rest of this. Just do your best. Oh boy, that could have been bad. Okay, now very gently and slowly work your way up the handle. Make sure it's centered. Okay, again, get it into its shape, and now start pushing down. It's tricky making a paper handle, I'll tell you that, but you can do it. Okay, try and make sure there's no gaps anywhere. And that looks pretty good, I'd say. Okay, I would hold it like this for a few moments, let it set. This little unsightly seam at the top, we're gonna cover that up with a little bow. And we got 3 bows to make, and we got some little flowers to put together. And then this will be pretty much done. All right, so we got 2 of those, 2 of those, and 1 of these. One's a little bit smaller, and then 1 of that. Then we're gonna need 2 of those, and 2 of those. Okay, these little flowers here, pretty simple. Okay, each bow is gonna have 1 large, 1 small, with the hole in the center. And then this one without the hole is gonna go on top of the handle. All you're gonna do is take a dowel, put it right at the base of each of the petals, and then lift up the petal about 90 degrees and just run the dowel through just to give it a little bit of dimension, like that. Okay, we'll do that with the small one too. And with this one, it might just be better off curling it against the dowel, like you're curling your hair kinda. Do the same thing for all of these little flowers. Just don't rip the petal off. I've done that many times. Just be careful. Don't go Tarzan on it. These I'm going to curl. Nice and easy. And then this little guy, roughly the same size as that other one, just with no hole in the center. I'm going to curl that one too. Okay. All right, let's put our little bows together. So we'll keep 2 of these. All right, so take a dowel. You'll notice that there's like a rectangle in the center. Just above the score mark for that, place your dowel. Place the loop in between your finger and the dowel, bring it up 90 degrees, run that dowel through so you get a nice curve to it. Okay, do the same thing on the other side, like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on this little rectangle on the edge, and you're just going to match up the 2 little holes in the center. Just press and hold that down for a minute. There's going to be a little bit of resistance from the fact that we just shaped that paper and made it round instead of flat. It's like, I don't like that. I don't know why you did that to me, but okay. Then we're going to go over to this other side, do the same thing, apply some glue around that, get that centered. Okay, just like that. We'll just get that ready. And what we're going to do, we need to put the little tail on here as well. Okay, so same thing, just put a little bit of glue on the back of this, and if you want, you can take and flare the tails out just like we did, a little loop. Okay, just match up the little hole, make sure it's flush against that little rectangle in the back, press that down. And you may need to sort of flatten this out a little bit to make sure that that flour can get in there. And that's fine. Okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to put the flour in there as well, and then stick a brad through it. You know, we can actually do that now. Why do I feel like I'm missing a brad now? Let's just get it ready to go. I'm missing a brad. Okay, you can flare these little inner petals in a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's going to hold the handle in place as well. And yeah, I need to find another brad. Okay, so this one's ready to go. Let's do the same thing on this side. So grab your bow and give it a little bit of a curve. Go ahead and apply your glue to that. Bring it in. And just get that aligned with that little hole in the center. Press and hold. Go over to the other side. There we go. Get that aligned. Just so long as you can see right through that little circle, that little hole there, you know you're in good shape. Okay, and press that down. There we go. Let's not forget our little tail. Go ahead and throw a little bit of glue on that rectangle and just match that up with the circle. Make sure that the tail, well, just as long as the top of that tail is flush and straight with that little rectangle in the center, you're in good shape. Press that down, maybe flatten this out just a little bit. I don't want a crease there. I want it to look round. There we go. Okay, don't forget you can take and curl the tail up and out a little bit just to make it nice. Let's grab the small flower and then the large flower. Make sure it's offset so that the petals are not on top of each other. There we go. Can bring those in a little bit. Can always finesse that later too. Not a big deal right now. Okay, so we've got those ready. So you know what? Let's put the handle in place actually. Let's open this up. Get those off to the side. And what we can do is take and poke the bow through one side. Okay, then we're going to take and poke it through that little center hole on one side. Okay, there we go. try not to disturb the little, what's it called? Little heart pattern. Really can't see that. There we go. There we go. Okay. Spread that brad out. Perfect. Now we'll go over to the other side. Poke that through the handle first. Then poke that through the side. There we go. And then spread those apart so that your handle is in place. This should close nicely in the center. There we go. You can kind of flatten that out a little bit if we need to. There's that. And then we have one more little bow to put on top. So let's go ahead and construct that one. Same thing. It's just a little bit smaller. And pop that right in the center. There's no hole this time. You just want to make sure that the little rectangle that we put glue on sits right on top of that little rectangle in the center. You can see there, got a little rectangle there, and then there's that same size rectangle in the middle. Okay. Press that into place. And now with this one, it's a little different. We have this little guy. What we're going to do with him is put him right over the center, middle, right? So it's centered over the center of the bow. Then you're just going to fold it behind on both sides. And then on the other side, just put a little bit of glue right there and pop it right on top of itself, like so. Okay, and we've got a little flower. Perfect little spot for a little embellishment if you want to add one. Put a little dot of glue right on that center of the bow. Glue your flower down, and then that's gonna, you'll probably use a foam square or maybe a pop or a zot. Give that a little added dimension, and then you're gonna put your bow right on top, and that is going to do it. What a lovely little basket. Perfect and ready for a bunch of little goodies. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new project, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where I hang out, that's where Mike hangs out, that's where Diana hangs out, and over 45,000 of our dreamers. So anyway, hope you had a blast, and as always, look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.